know about the role of the adult environments and the child's environment, and a lot of the logistical things that we struggle with. Yeah. So that's going to be, and at the end we'll keep it for questions. All right. So this is one of those iconic Montessori slides. Okay. It's a big part of what Dr. Montessori. This is a large part of Dr. Montessori's work. She developed this around 1913s, so for those of you that don't know Dr. Montessori's background, she was a physician. She was actually an engineer to begin with, and then she realized after she finished her engineering degree, she realized that she, her interest actually lay with, with the brain and a lot of with brain-based things. That's when she decided to become a doctor, and it was very rare in those days for a woman in Italy to be a doctor. A woman was okay to be a nurse or a teacher, but not really a doctor. So she had a lot of trials, that she had to face as a doctor back then. But she did finish, and she was a pediatrician, and as was with the gender bias back then, she was given one of those slums of San Lorenzo to work with, saying when she wanted to work. So she was actually put in a what they called an institution for the idiots, is what they called it back then. Obviously there was no political correctness back then, but then so what happened was she was working with those children, and she had designed. She was an eclectic reader. She would read from every part of the world, and so what happened was when she read about Itard and Segment's methods and things like, all leading philosophers and doctors of those types, she took their work and started making. She designed, in fact, the Nautilus cylinders were designed for those children. And what she found very quickly was, back then those children in Italy would write board exams in grade 8, and she realized that these children who were so-called mentally handicapped actually did much better than the children, actually did as well as the so-called average intelligence children. So then her question became, like, if children who have lower mental faculties can actually do this well, when given the right tools, what is happening to our education system? Like, why is it not even much better than what it needs to be? That's how she got into the field of working with what we call neurotypical children, and that's when she started. After that, she never looked back. Like, she was not only she was a feminist, she was a women's rights activist. She wanted to start a party called the Party of the Child, because she truly believed that child was the vehicle for change. Yeah. So this is in 1913, and what she called this was so she called it planes of development, where children between 0 to 6, are typically in what you could call like developmentally alike, right, in some way. 6 to 12, 12 to 18, 18 to 24. So that's the range of and at 24 you finally become an adult, is what was her theory. And many educators at that time actually came up with similar ones. A few say 7 years, a few say 6 years. But the idea is ballpark, it's around here, right? And if you see that it's divided into two, this plane and that plane. The reason that it is because the 0 to 3 is starkly different from 3 to 6 in a lot of ways, but they're also very similar, right? So you know it as parents of 0 to 3 versus those of you who have 2 children, 3 to 6. You will know what I'm talking about, right? That whole I don't care what you're saying. I'm just going to do what I want to do. I'm going to be bullheaded about it. You know which child that is. Is that your 0 to 3 or 3 to 6? 0 to 3, right? Your 0 to 3 child is going to be bullheaded, and if your 3 to 6 child is still doing that, then that means there's a lot of spillover from your 0 to 3 happening there, okay? Which means it's time for you to introspect and to see what is it that I am doing that it's not helping my child go into the 3 to 6 plane, right? We'll talk about that as well. So a 0 to 3 child is going to be very driven by his inner will, what she calls the hormone, right? It's an Italian term for saying that I decide what I want to do. It's a very I, me, egocentric child, right? And it's not a bad thing at all. It's what he needs to survive. It is absolutely, and I say a lot of he's. It doesn't mean anything. I have a boy, and I only have a boy, so I'm very used to saying he. Okay, so no gender bias here. I can guarantee you that. Okay, so. So with her, like, she was very, that 0 to 3, 3 to 6 is why, that's why it's partitioned, because these children are starkly different and yet similar, though, so that they're grouped in one plane, but there are differences, and we are going to talk about those differences today, okay? And then the 6 to 12, she's intentionally marked it in blue, which she called a calm period, right? What she meant by a calm period is, this is when your child will fall less sick, will grow faster, will be more robust, all of those infections, ear infections, this, that, you're just sick and tired of saying, when I'm going to, you will outgrow it. 6 to 12 is your time. I can guarantee you that your child is going to be strong, healthy, robust, 6 to 12. Okay? So that is why she called it the calm period. By no imagination is it calm. I can guarantee you that by no imagination is 6 to 12 calm. Okay? But what she meant was these physical, limitations were not there with the 6 to 12 child. Again, if you see 12 to 18, it goes back to that whole, puberty, hormones, the body changing, feeling awkward about yourself. And those of you that have adolescents, nieces, nephews, kids, grandkids, I'm not sure, but you will know what I mean when I say that this child is a very different child again. And it actually goes through a lot of changes then, right? 12 to 18. Then 18 to 24 again is the period of consolidation, when all that learning has been now put on a plane and the child is able to consolidate and become who he or she is, right? The adult that he is supposed to be. And if you notice, this is a flame that she draws, and she says every child, and that's the beauty about the pedagogy, right? Like, she has so much faith. She says every child is born with that immense potential, a potential like no other, to be who or she wants. And the only thing that changes the child, I mean, obviously genetics aside, right? We're talking about neurotypical children here, but we're saying if it's a neurotypical child, right, your child is born with immense potential, and even a neurodiverse for that matter, right? Like, the idea is the potential is so immense that we are not capitalizing enough of it to make your child who he or she wants to be. And that is the power that we have as adults, and that is what we want to focus on today. Yeah? So, this is a very static thing, and she realized that too. So that was the beauty about her. She would do something, and then she realized, oh, it's not perfect yet. I need to still work on it. And so her classroom was designed in that manner. She would actually, initially, when she started the method, the teachers would lock the cupboards, leave all the materials inside the cupboards, lock it, and go. And then the next day the teacher would unlock and say, oh, you've come, I'm going to give you this material. Oh, you've come, I'm going to give you this. Even though they were working with manipulatives, it was still very adult driven, right? It was still very adult led. One day the teacher forgot to lock the door, and the evening she left, and these children who came in earlier, and the teacher came late the next day. So they were desperate to work with those things. And these are children of the slum, right? So, for them, a school like this is probably something that they really look forward to. So these children climbed through the windows, into the classroom, and they saw the door open, and they started taking materials out themselves. And the teachers actually notes say to Dr. Montessori, say, oh, these are such naughty children. They didn't even wait for me. They were so disobedient. They took our things, and they started working without our choice. And so Dr. Montessori actually wanted her to repeat the phenomenon. And she sat in the classroom and she observed. And that's when the whole thing of freedom of choice came about to be. Because she said, okay, these children are dying to choose their own work. Who are we? Why are we putting ourselves on a pedestal saying that we need to decide what work this child is going to take? It's never us. It's the child who's, remember that flame, that child that's born with so much potential, who knows how to construct himself, who knows how to be who he or she is. Right? It's not our job to teach. It is not our job to teach. I want us to, as adults, to take away one thing from today is this. It is not our job to teach. We are here as servants to the child. That's what she called us teachers. She said you are servants to the child. You are here in service of the child, which means that you are here to watch and do whatever you need to around the child's thing, so that the child's potential is fully optimized. Yeah. So, and she realized that this was too static and was not truly representative of what an actual learning looks like. Yeah. Then she changed it to this, what we call the bulb model, where she said that this is, if you see, this is more dramatic. Like, this part of the bulb is where bulk of the changes happen. This is where that 0 to 6, right? That's the 0 to 6 bulb. And if you see, the 0 to 3 is still much more stark than the 3 to 6. You see how it's narrowing down? And that's what you will see in your child as well. All that tantrums, all that, that craziness that happens in 0 to 3 will automatically come down, provided. That provided part we all miss, provided we are all in sync and we are all, that prepared adult that needs to be. So you can't just say, oh, I see the bulb, 3 to 6, my child by a magic wand has to be this calm child. No, it's not going to happen. If you are chaotic, if you are anxious, if you are going to be doing that, your child will still be here. The bulb will still be that one, right? So that is what, this model actually, this is a typical true model, right? So 0 to 3, 3 to 6, and then you see 6 to 12, it's just a period of accelerated learning. That 6 to 12 child is filled with immense knowledge, is filled with, so raring to go. In fact, she proposed that 6 to 12 is when board exams should be, not 12 to 18. Any guesses why? Puberty. What happens in puberty?
Just figuring themselves out, completely not forming a new identity.
Exactly, and how awkward are they feeling about themselves, right? I mean, imagine their whole body is going, they don't understand. They are like, in this, it's very strange. I was just sharing with Anupama this morning. My son goes for a sleepover, he's 15. He goes for a sleepover and he comes back and he stayed up at 6 a.m. at the sleepover, right? So he comes back at 1 and so I'm excited. I'm like, oh, what happened? This, that. I kept asking him questions in the normal way and he started snapping at me, And he's like, then I said, okay, now I said, at 15 I'm able to do this, right? So I said, okay, you snapped, it's fine. I said, this is not your, I said, just have a quick meal because I know you're going to hit the bed soon. So just have a quick meal and go. 2 hours later, he comes back to me and he says, Amma, I felt really bad for having snapped at you like that. He's like, I hate myself for doing this. I don't know what happened. I don't know why I felt so irritated. And that's truly what it is. They are helpless. They don't know what is going on with their bodies. They don't like it themselves either. But that's the period of immense change. And then, we're expecting them to also study, also do, board exams, the pressure of all of this, right? It's the worst time, and I don't know when education will ever wake up, but hopefully with our children, this many children coming out of Montessori, background will hopefully change the world. That's the faith Dr. Montessori had, and I believe that that's the faith we should all carry through as well. So same thing. So and this is a linear model, right? This is what traditional education is believe. They believe that grade 1 this much portion, grade 2 this much portion, grade 3 they believe that the child is this empty cannon that you keep filling with more portions because it is going to linearly grow. No, linear growth cannot happen in a child. A child developmentally goes through all of these changes. So there is a lot of work. You need to know your child. Is my child here? Is my child here? Why is my child behaving this way? What is going on? And all of that. Yeah. So that is this 4 stages. Yes. So this, thank God for nature. I mean, I can't thank nature enough that we have. The nature has given us few powers. One is the absorbent mind. Okay. One of the powers that the nature has definitely given us is the absorbent mind, right? What it means is like, people call it a sponge. It's actually not a sponge. That's not what an absorbent mind is. And Dr. Montessori gave a very beautiful analogy for that. She called it a picture versus a painting. So if I'm taking a picture of a cup, right? That camera clicks that cup with its imperfections. It is taking that chip at the corner. It is taking that rim which is a particular color. It's taking the texture of the cup. Everything as it is, the camera has captured it, right? Whereas a painting is an artist's rendition of the cup, right? What he thinks is going to be the cup, right? So do you see the difference, the very subtle difference between these two things, right? So the child has a picture kind of a mind. He is snapshots of everything that is happening in his environment is being absorbed into the child, right? So I have a question. Now that this is like the most profound thing that I think child development, has given to us, right? So now that you know that your child has an absorbent mind, what do you think it does to you in your mind? Does anybody have any thoughts? Old parents don't get a say in this, okay? So I'm talking about the new parents. What do you think the absorbent mind has? You know your child has an absorbent mind. You know your child is capturing everything that is happening. What does it say about you? I'm glad somebody said scared. Did I hear scared?
Yes.
Yes, I was supremely scared too when I heard that. Anything else?
We need a reflection of that.
You need to behave, absolutely. Because your child is absorbing everything in the atmosphere around the child, right? So it is, what an onus it puts on us as adults, right? It's a huge, huge responsibility on us as adults, right? But nature had to do this because nature didn't know that they're going to have nurturing parents. Nature didn't know that every parent you cannot be sure, right, that every parent is going to be able to afford this. So how do those children who are abandoned survive if we did not have the absorbent mind, right? These children also, the child left in a bin or an orphanage, is also growing up, is also absorbing the culture, is also absorbing the language, is also needs to. If we were heavily dependent on the adult only doing this, can you imagine what would happen to all the children, right? Which is why nature said, I don't trust, these humans. Like I need to do whatever it takes to be able to do something above and beyond to be able to for this child to survive, right? So while we are born helpless and while we are truly helpless in the beginning, but our children, after a year are able to quickly catch up, right? And so that's why and we will do that another time. We have a whole workshop on the brain and why 0 to 3 is so important and all that. We'll do that workshop another time. But this is the reason why absorbent mind is a gift, is a true gift But for the adults, you should be scared that your child has an absorbent mind. This is a group of adults that is committed to their child's learning. This is a group of adults that wants their children to thrive, right? And it's not enough to want. You also have to do, right? The doing is the toughest part. It's not just enough to want. And what you need to do and how you need to do with us is what we are going to be talking about today. Yes? The next one. This is the other gift. Two gifts in 0 to 6. One is absorbent mind. Second is the sensitive periods. Okay, so these are again, and this is not just Dr. Montessori saying. This is a lot of latest, like current neurodevelopment experts who are also talking about this. And she did this a good 150 years ago without those MRIs and CT scans. So imagine what this woman would have done, right? So these sensitive periods are again windows, small windows in your child's life. So if you notice, like how many of you have children that were like, when they started rolling, would only want to roll, right? Roll, crawling, only want to crawl. Like, it's not random. It's not just randomly happening. It is happening because nature provides for this window. And imagine what we do when the child wants to roll. What is the first thing we do when the child wants to roll? Pillows, bolsters. Let's jam pack this kid in whatever way we can. And guess what's happening to the sensitive period at that time? Right? Sensitive period is probably yelling and shouting, saying, "Mom, just like, I wish I had the strength to be able to push it out and do this," right? So that is what you should know and be aware that there are sensitive periods. And there is a lot of debate, honestly. I didn't want to go because there's one scientist who's saying this, one scientist who's saying that. I don't think that's important. What you need to truly know about sensitive periods is that they have a sensitive period for language, which means... Sorry, I could hear that.
Let them talk.
You have to let them talk. Is it just letting them talk?
Listen.
Hear. What else?
Exposure.
Exposure, right? So remember, they have a sensitive period. It needs to be alive in the environment. And by being alive, people ask us, "Oh, why don't we have French classes? Why don't we have Spanish classes?" It means nothing. All those schools that are offering 1 hour of French and Spanish a week means nothing to the child. Means nothing. Because a language needs to be alive. A language needs to be spoken, heard in the child's vicinity at all points of time. The child can pick up 6 languages. If we have had children, at least 3, right? Easily, right? Speaking to our child,
5, 6 different languages at the same point of time without getting confused. So the child had a nanny who spoke Telugu. The child was basically a Malayali speaking family. The dad spoke Malayalam and the mom spoke Tamil. And the child picked up Hindi and English at school. So the child was fluently able to speak in all these
and
languages.
switch. So you happily switch from this to this to this to this. It was amazing, and it's possible. It's not just that one child's capacity. I'm saying all the children here have that capacity. It is up to us as to how alive we are going to keep it in the environment.
And India is blessed with multiple languages. So
Yes.
we should capitalize on it.
We should truly capitalize on the gift that we have, right? So and that is why, if you see, when some of us who've gone abroad, and if your child is born in the US, let's say, right? Like for example, my son, right? He was born in the US. He was there for 8.5 years. His accent was so natural, right? Like he picked up the American accent because that's the culture he's living in, right? I could never, and I don't think I will ever be able to replicate that. I can put on, I can fake it as much as I want to, but I've grown up for a good part of my life with this being my accent, right?
Despite being for the same number of years in the same country.
Right, in fact more. I was there for 16 and he was there for 8.5. But the point is that he's able to, and why do you think he's able to do that? The absorbent mind. He's picking up what he's hearing in his culture, right? Whereas, same thing, a Malayali child's accent, nuances, syntax, grammar. Do we sit and teach our child that's just started talking, you have to talk like this, you need to say this word after the... Can we ever imagine doing something like that? Never, right? So the point is, all of that, imagine something as complex as language, nuances, all of that, right, is picked up by a child effortlessly. But guess what we worry about as parents who send their children to schools? When will they start reading? Have we just discounted the fact that this helpless individual who could not even feed himself, he was being fed in utero, right? It was being given to him. He comes out, he has to breathe for himself. He has to feed himself. He's managed to pick up all of that, all in less than, a month, He has to do whatever it takes to start speaking because he has to belong to this community. He will be lost. If not for the absorbent mind, he would be lost. He has to belong. He has to roll. He has to walk. He has to do for survival. No, but we'll discount all of that. And the only thing that we will be focused on, reading, writing, math. My child's friend who goes to Chirek is able to do sleeping lines, standing lines. We do no sleeping lines, standing lines here. I can guarantee you this, okay? We have faith in your child. Despite your lack of faith, we have faith in your child, okay?
Yeah,
Yes.
I have got complete faith after looking at my daughter, the way she
Thank you.
just
Can you
grew.
stand up and say this? Please say this.
I have been with Montessori all along. My daughter is 6.5 years old, and sorry, she's 8 years old. 6.5 years old, elementary now, and I have seen the way she progressed. I think her handwriting was pretty bad when she was 3 years old, and I completely trusted Montessori, and I had all the grandparents say, "Oh, she still can't read, she still can't write." And now the same grandparent who said her handwriting was bad at 3.5 says she has amazing handwriting.
Absolutely.
And this summer she read 22 books.
Woohoo!
So I completely have faith. Now I just left my son, right? All he has is scissors all the time. That's exactly how my daughter was when she was 3.5 years old. Scissors all the time in her hands. And I think, yeah, they have their methods, right? Obviously.
There is, trust us,
So
you know.
we promise we've not paid her to say this.
Alright, so that is honestly the power of sensitive periods, right? It's an opportunity of time. Notice if your child is babbling a lot, he's dying to speak. He's trying to say something. Engage in a conversation. Don't be on your phone at that time. Don't, I know meetings, at least see one adult can. I know in today's lifestyle it's hard for both of us. And there is, honestly no judgment here. But, the point is, it's like, the wolf boy. I don't know if you've, the Austrian, there's a famous experiment where this child, like a Mowgli-like child, a true Mowgli-like child, was left in the forest, and he had to be rehabituated at 7.5. And the only thing that he couldn't pick, guess what? He couldn't bring it up. And that is why sensitive periods are important, because you need to speak to your child. You need to engage and serve in return. The child babbles, you babble back. There is that serve in return, because the neurons are mirroring what is happening, right? There's this whole concept of mirror neurons, and we have doctors here who will be able to speak about that, right? Mirror neurons are such an important concept, and we need to capitalize on those mirror neurons to be able to help our child soak in whatever is happening, right? So please do ample things. Spoken language is the bedrock of everything. When there is enough spoken language, reading, writing will happen automatically. But that is the bedrock. So no sleeping lines, standing lines in this school, I can guarantee you that. Okay? Next one, please. Yes. So I'm going to quickly talk about, this is a very important concept in Montessori as well. This is called the prepared environment. It's called a triad, okay? It's called the Montessori triad, where it's a very dynamic triad, where the environment, the adult and the child, are three important vertices, and you can't do without each of these, right? And the triangle is truly the constructor of all shapes. If you think about it, all shapes, right? The base is a triangle, right? And that is an adult can assist in shaping the environment, but it is the child that perfects his own being, and that cannot be more true than this, right? So what we mean by an environment is this: is your environment accessible? Is it child friendly? Is your child, yes, my child is cutting all the time. Do I have child safe scissors there? And have I set limits on the child to not cut wires, not cut hair, not cut clothes, and things like that? Those are the limits you need to set. But yes, you have a need to cut. Come here, I'm going to show you. I need these threads for makeup, things that your child can do with whatever the sensitive period is there for right now, right? So that is what we mean by a prepared environment. It's a whole topic in our training. Prepared environment alone goes on for a good 3 days, right? Am I right? For a good 3 days, prepared environment. Because that's the importance of how prepared the environment needs to be. The child needs no preparation. Child will come is perfect as he or she is, but the child needs limits. The child, that again falls back on the adult, right? You can't just let a child just because the child is perfect, I'm going to let my child do whatever, break things, write on walls. No, because what you're actually doing is you're not setting a safe space for your child there, and we're going to have Jyoti and Satya take over those things. But that is, she's going to talk about the role of the adult, which is why you're all here today actually. That's the pinnacle of why. This was just a build up to that, and I'll let Jyoti take over. With my paper, because I can't talk like such. I want to ensure I'm just covering all the points. First of all, thank you so much for coming. It's good to see a full house being the first workshop for this academic year. So thank you so much. It's very nice. So yeah, just to continue with what Suchi said, now that you all are enrolled with the Montessori school, I'm sure you're all Googled up here and there, found out sensitive periods, absorbent mind. These are terms that you know about Montessori, right? You know about freedom to the child, you know about the choices to be given to the child and all that. In all this is the child. What about us? What is our role in all this? Right? Where are we in all this? The child, yes, we know the needs of the child, we know the child has to do this, child will do that. What is it that we do? What is it that we can do? Does anybody want to say what is our role in all of this?
Not be anxious and chaotic all the time.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Most parents tend to be, and that reflects on the child. I think it's very important.
Observe. Okay,
Provide them the opportunity.
Sorry.
Provide them the opportunity to do whatever they want to do, which can help them grow.
Okay.
You're all like our elementary children, perfect answers. Everybody, our elementary children give us perfect answers. But guess what happens when they have to follow the rules?
So yeah, like you said, the first and foremost is what I would say is model it. If you are expecting something in your child, some behavior, something that you want your child to do, model it. Do it yourself. When you do it is when your child will pick it up. By telling him to do it this way, telling him to do it that way, he is not going to pick it up. Yeah, so the more you model it, the more they pick it up because they want to be like you. They want to do things like you. They want to, be the adult that you are because you're the adult that they are seeing, right? So they want to see you. So mainly, sorry. Say sorry. Come on, say sorry. Doesn't work. They don't know what sorry means. It's just a word. Okay, you want me to say it? I'm going to repeat the word sorry. Does it mean something? Did he mean sorry to that child where something has happened? No, right? He's just saying sorry because you're asking him to say it and he doesn't know what it means. Instead, if you, like say if I'm walking around, I just hit my hand by mistake to a child. So sorry, did it hurt you? Are you okay? And then I go. So the other child is watching that while I walk, if my hand hurts, I'm supposed to say a sorry. So the next time the child is walking there, he will say a sorry and go. Right? So model it. Sorry, please, thank you. These are things that a child will pick up based on looking at, not by teaching. These things don't come by teaching.
Don't force your children to say good morning when you're dropping them off at the gate. It's okay if your child will not wish the teachers. That is fine. You continue to wish the teachers. One day your child will automatically wish them. So do not force your child to say thank you, goodbye, good morning. Please avoid it.
So yeah, like Suchi said, role of an adult is a very important topic and it's a very vast topic for all of us. For days together in our training, we are asked to go through a lot of other things. But here I thought I'll just cover a few points where you people can think and reflect and see if you can start working on these things as an adult for your child. It could be a parent, it could be a grandparent, it could be the nanny, it could be anybody, any adult who is with the child and wanting to support. These are things that you might want to reflect upon. So I'm just going to go through a few points where you can just see.
Is everybody able to hear her in the back?
Can you hear me at the back? Fine. One is I said model it. The other one is proper language. You just say, okay, get me that from there. Get me this from here. The child doesn't know what is that. What is this? Right? So can you tell him that, can you get me the blue block, the blue box from the second shelf? You're giving him vocabulary. You're giving him, clear instruction as to what is to be done. Right? So the child will look for a blue box on the second shelf. So if you can give proper language, use properly, think what you're going to say. Right? So the child is picking up, child is learning what you do. Think of all of these. The other one is I would say have faith in your child. I think since you already spoke about it, have faith. Accept that the child is in the process of learning. He's still learning every bit, even walking, he's learning how to balance himself. If he's going up the stairs, he's learning how to balance his body while going up and not falling. How much of my leg is to be lifted to be going to the next step. So he is learning. Every step is a learning process for your child. Accept it. Give him some time. Give them that space to work on it, try it out,
Maybe today, tomorrow they will try. After a few days, they will get it. Have faith in it. I tried it one day. I let him eat. He didn't eat, so it was all going back. So I start feeding. No, it doesn't work that way. So give it some time. Have faith in your child. We absolutely have faith in your children. So we're asking you also to have it.
You know, I just want to add a quick point here. You know, so Dr. Montessori spoke about having a friendly attitude towards mistakes. You know, she said mistakes are your friend, right? Is it because you expect perfection that you want your child to do it right the first time? You know, that is something that you need to reflect upon. In fact, the materials are called autodidactic because these children can, you know, when they fill the cylinder blocks, you will never see a teacher. When the teacher presents, and you will see some of our presentations in the upcoming workshops, you will see that the teacher will just show those cylinder blocks taking out and then very carefully just putting it back in, and that's it. The teacher doesn't speak a word. ఇది చూడు ఇక్కడ పెట్టు అది చెయ్యి అక్కడ చిక్కుతుంది కదా లేదు కదా. I mean, you are talking so much. You know, you're not allowing the child to develop. So basically, the message that you're saying is mistakes are bad. I cannot make a mistake. You know, whereas Dr. Montessori wanted every child to develop a friendly attitude towards mistakes. Mistakes are good. That is what teaches your child what to do by himself. Imagine us, right? If you're cooking and I'm constantly standing behind you and saying, no, I think I have more salt. No, I think you need to do this. It's the same thing for the child, right? So let's put ourselves in the child's shoes when it comes to error.
So don't shoot out emails if your child comes back writing SKUL. We are okay with it. The teachers know the spelling.
Yes, we are all educated. We know all the spellings.
So yeah, when she says mistakes, we know we have to support, right? How do we support them? Can we support them only where required and not unnecessary support? Like the child is walking up and down the stairs, say he's going on and on and on. What do we feel as adults? He's going to feel tired now. He's going to be tired, his leg will pain, so let me help him go up. Maybe he wants to go to the first floor. I'll just lift him and put him in. And the child starts crying. I helped you, I put you up on the first floor. Why are you still crying? You wanted to go there, I got you, right? I supported you. But what did the child actually want to do? He wants to walk up himself. He is trying to figure out how to walk up himself. He needs that time. Give him that time. Support, yes. Maybe you can stand behind him. You know he will fall and he might get hurt. Maybe you can stand behind him. But can you wait for him to climb those stairs and wait for him to figure it out? This is the kind of support we can give as adults, right? Not like holding and putting him there or just putting him there. Maybe you can put a railing where he can hold on to himself at his height, not at the adult's height. Maybe here, so he can hold on to it and walk. So these are the kind of support that we can think of. So think of all of these back home if you can apply.
Same thing with language. Don't be in a rush to finish the sentence for your child. You know, give them, the thing is, especially when we're in social settings, we feel like it's a reflection on us because, the child is like stammering, stuttering. Give them the opportunity. It's okay for them to finish the sentences. They may not even say it correctly. And, I don't know, there was some parent, I don't remember exactly what the word was, but was, constantly correcting the pronunciation, right? And then we could see a few days later the child just like stopped talking.
Shuts down.
Just completely shuts down, right? You don't know. There are some children who are very sensitive and there are some children who are not. So you know your child. But if your child is a sensitive one, then please do not be in a rush. Nobody judges your child. I can guarantee you this, okay?
So yeah, when we're supporting, our job is to make sure they're safe. Safety is our role. They will work on it. We don't know what they're trying to work on. Maybe he's just trying to see how much he can go. Maybe he just wants to go 2-3 steps and come back and just do that. We don't know what he's doing, right? We only have to ensure there is safety. If there are sharp objects or if he's walking up in there and there is some nail or something, pick that nail out. Make sure he is safe. That's all it is our job. So our job is on the external part. He is working on his internal whatever that is required. Be patient. Stay calm. That is very, very, very important because children pick up on our body language as well. Even if we are panicking inside, they will pick it up because they know, okay, mom is not fine. Maybe I'm also supposed to panic, right? So stay calm.
I see a lot of spouses, saying,
Like now there's nothing going on, like the answers were exchanged.
It's okay, your child will be fine. Just stay calm because that is what your child is also picking up. Like say, I was giving this example to our support staff. Back then when we were in Jubilee Hills, it started raining one day. And the support staff, she had put some mats outside for drying. So she came running and she's like, oh, it's raining. And she went and, picked up all those things. The next day again it rained. Again she ran the same way. children were watching. So I told her, next time it rains, the children are going to, run, say, oh, it's raining, it's raining. They don't know what it is. They just want to do because it's raining and you have to run. That's what she is saying. So I was telling them, just calm down, it's okay. You know it's raining. Just say it's raining, I have to take my mat. Go. You might be panicking inside, but don't have to show it out so much, right? Calm down, it's okay. Love them, most important. Show them your love. Don't overdo it, but yes, don't even underplay it. Don't say, I know I love the child, but I don't have to show it out. She need not be so risky. It's okay. Don't underplay it, don't overdo it. But show them that you love them. Talk to them about it. It's very important to show them that. Another thing, respond, don't react, which is a very, very important thing. Say a child falls down while running or in the playground. What is it that we do immediately? Rush to help them. Oh my God, are you okay? Oh my God, you get hurt. You're okay. You're okay.
Back to the floor. Hit the floor.
Let's hit the floor. What is the message you're giving? Unless you hurt somebody, you will not be fine. Right? So don't do such things. Don't overreact. It's okay. You can stay calm. Yes, the child has fallen. Maybe he's hurt. Ask, go closer. Ask, do you need help? Are you okay? Do you want me to check you? That's fine. If she wants to cry, let her cry. Don't cry. Don't cry. You don't have to cry. It's just a small hurt. You're fine. You're a strong girl. You don't need to do all of that. Let her show that she's hurt also, right? That also is a feeling. It's an emotion that she has to show. Right? Let her figure out how much it is hurting. Whether it is hurting or not, let her figure it out. Who are we to say, no, you're not hurt, you're okay, chalo, let's go play. Who am I to say that to the child, right? So think of all these, think of these reactions that we will do. Observe, yes, somebody said here, observe, identify, like we spoke about, sensitive periods. What are the needs? If the child is going on playing with water, maybe there's a need to play with water. Give them a bucket of water and say, this is all you get, you don't get more than that. Set your limits. Give them a bucket of water. Maybe you can play in the bathroom or you can play in the garden. Or give them their cycle or their toys and say, you can wash these. Give them more productive work. But the need is to So the need is to play with water. So identify that and provide for it. You can't say, okay, he wants to play with water. Let me give him as much water as possible. You can't waste water also. Then maybe half a bucket, one bucket, and say, this is all you get to play, this is all you get to do.
Limits
What
are very
happens after that one bucket is over? The child wants more. Don't be scared to say no to your child. You have agreed upon a bucket of water, set the limit and say no after that.
Don't be scared of
to say
your,
no.
yeah. Don't be scared of your child, yeah. It's just a 1, 2, 3 year old. It's okay to say no. You know better.
When you say no, they might cry, it's okay. First time, second time, third time they cry. Fourth time they know, okay, when mama says no, she means a no. There's no point me crying. If it's a no, right? So it's okay to say no and identify what is it that she needs. Is it the water? Is it something else? Right? If you can identify those and provide those, the child is much more calmer and you can also handle it much
Just like to
better.
add one more thing, just because it's okay to say no, don't say no for everything. So think about what you can say a no to and what you can't, and create a yes bucket for your child. There should be more things that the child should be able to do on his or
Yeah, because a lot of the times our no's are silly things in our own head, because we believe so. So we would really like you to go back home and reflect, like make a yes box, like she said, right? This is plug is not safe. Let's put that three-way pin in it, right? Let's do what it takes to make the environment. That's all you can do. The work, like Jyoti said, is internal. Is the child's. It's not yours, right? But how much can you say yes to, and what are you saying no to? Just think about that.
Don't correct them, only you can show them what to do. If the child is say painting and you have drawn some elephant and wants to paint, let him paint, it's okay. It will go out of the line, it will go everywhere, it might go on the table. You take another paper, you paint and paint it within those lines. So the child is watching you do it and say, okay, maybe that is what I'm supposed to do. Tomorrow, day after a month maybe, but the child will get it. So have faith, give it some time.
We had a child which
I think we'll keep coming back to saying we have faith in your child.
yes. No, we had a child that would take the paint, and one blob, it's the paper, right? And the paint would, and every time he would paint and put on that blob only, he'll go back and keep putting it on the blob. So much of the paper will tear. Every day we would look at him and say, are you not noticing that the paper is tearing? Like, that should tell you something, like you need to move it other than that. No, I'm not kidding you. Almost 6 months. There was a time when Anupam and I panicked, okay? I remember this in Julius. And we panicked and we were like, should we like have a conversation with the parents? Like, is this like, are we being negligent? But lo and behold, by the end of the year, the child knew to move that thing, and no longer was he having like torn, wet, soggy papers anymore. So even as educators, though we see it day in and day out, it does scare you. And we know that it's normal for adults to do that, especially because you don't even have the training that we do. But we are telling you from experience, it will happen.
Okay, next one is order, consistency, routine. We cannot insist more on this. There should be order, there should be a routine at home. How you want to do it, because each family is different. What is the order? What's the routine in your house? You think about it, but have the order. Children this age crave for order. They want consistency. Just give them that order. You set a routine and then they will fall into it. They will come back and say, Mama, we were supposed to do this. After this, you have not done this today. They want that order. They will be a lot more calmer. The predictability is very important for the child. So give them that 0 to 6. It's very, very important that there is order for them. They get up, maybe brush their teeth first, then breakfast, then come back, take a shower, then get ready to school. There should be this order every day. If you think breakfast first, then take shower, is fine. Shower, breakfast, whatever. Or a walk in the garden, then come back to whichever, whatever works for your family. You people decide what it is, but follow that every day. One-off cases when there is this order that goes out into this thing, it's okay. That is when the child will be able to accept it. That is when you can tell them, today we are not able to do it because of this reason. There is an emergency or something like that. But every day, if everything is here and there, the child will be a little confused. The child doesn't know what to expect next. And doesn't trust. So if you want that trust, you have to have order, you have to have consistency. Every day coming at this time, every day doing this time. You can build, you can work on the trust. Tell the child, I'm coming back in 10 minutes. Go out, even if it is, the child doesn't know the time, right? He may not know that it is 10 minutes. You come back and say, see, it's 10 minutes now and I'm back. Show them that you are back. Show them you mean what it is. Tell them 4 o'clock today we're going to the park. Remember when it is 4 o'clock. Child doesn't know when it is 4 o'clock, right? At that age, they don't know to see the time. Show them when it is on 4 and 12, when it is 4 o'clock, you can see the clock. When you come back at 4 o'clock, show them it is 4 o'clock, chalo, let's go to the park.
You will have to put aside your work things. If you commit to the child, it is like written in blood. Till the child knows you, till the child trusts you. Then is it to say that my child will always be like, a creature to this mad, like OCD kind of thing? No, that's not what we do. The child will adapt. But it has to be on a bedrock of stability, on a bedrock of consistency. The more consistency you provide in the beginning, your child will easily adapt and start trusting you later.
Treat them like a member of your family, not like, he's still a baby, I'll feed him first, let him finish, and then I will sit and around say eat. Doesn't work that way. Get them involved, have at least one meal together as a family. All of you sit together, take your serving, second serving, you eat, talk about food. There is so much vocabulary, so much language that you can talk about during meal time. Treat them like a member of the family. Don't say like you're a baby, you're a baby, you don't know. Keep them separate, you both adults are separate at home. Not like that. Get them involved in whatever you can at home. Get them in the kitchen, while you're discussing, while you're in the garden working, whatever it is. Share about your day. Tell them about how your day was. Talk to them. Treat them like an equal member of the family. When I say equal member of the family, not that the child has to say everything, right? Because not that they know about everything to take major decisions.
We have parents who come and say, oh, we picked this school because my child loved this school. Is your child ready? Is your 3-year-old ready to make a decision on a school? Can your child have a say in which school you're picking? Your child can have a say on what breakfast they can have today, on which shoe to pick today. But can they have a say in the school? Do they have enough life experiences to pick from that? There are choices that are meant for adults, there are choices that are meant for children, right? Let's draw those in. This is the problem, right? From our authoritarian, at least my generation of parents were authoritarian, super strict and whatever, right? Spare the rod, spoil the child kind of parenting, to this side where it's like, oh, the child, it's Montessori. Oh, we need to give them as much freedom as there need to be. No. Limits is a big part of this whole thing, right? So know what freedoms to give your child. So that's seriously a very important thing. As funny as it sounds, we were appalled. Like, why was this? Then we told the parent, please think through. You may not like us as a school. Because, we told the parent, this decision should not be made because your child likes the school. Tomorrow your child will not like the school. Then what? Right? So,
So every day the child may say, I don't want to go to school today. Is that a choice that is given to the child? No. Right? You have to go to school.
Find out, talk, find out what's happening. Is there a genuine reason? Then yes, right? But then that's why the implicit faith comes in. A lot of faith. Do your research before you join the school. We tell this at all enrollment meetings. Do your research before you come in, not after. After you need to give it some time. Like how your child became a part of your family member in a few years. They will take that. That's why it's a 3-year cycle. We ask for a minimum of 3-year cycles to see the magic of what happens.
Last but not the least, it's very important, self-care. We are not perfect, we are not experts in, taking care of our children and stuff like that. We are all learning, we are all doing what we think is best for the child. It's okay to make mistakes, accept it. Don't beat yourself up for it, saying, oh, I did this wrong and I'm feeling so guilty and stuff
Don't
like
beat
that.
us also.
Yes, don't beat us. That is a point I do want to add here. Okay, for many of you, this is your first schooling experience. Okay, so you are, many of you, I'm thinking, right? Our children, my son is 15, Anupama has a 21-year-old who just graduated from Cornell, and she has a 12-year-old, a 12-year-old as well. Okay, Jyoti has a 10-year-old, right? Our children have been to multiple schools. Okay, we know what's out there, right? And I can tell you, we have been refining our processes like nobody else. So yes, there are going to be delays and gaps and things like that, right? Please give us the latitude of, knowing that we are caring for 200 plus children here, right? Do not jump at us and start writing these accusatory emails, because every time we see that, we wish these schools on your children. Like we truly wish that, one of these schools, you should know what's happening out there before you, start this. We are trying, we are willing to talk, we are willing to, listen to you, your feedback, everything. But give us the latitude. There is a lot going on here. Our teachers are working day in and day out. You stop thinking about your child at a certain point, maybe our teachers don't. In the night, I'm one of those terrible people that at 10 o'clock will write a message saying, hey, by the way, what happened to this, right? And our teachers respond like that. To us, not to you, to us. Right? So the point is that our teachers are constantly thinking about your children, right? Our work doesn't stop at 2 o'clock. Our work continues till your child is under our care. So please give us a latitude is all we ask. Yeah.
I will come back again and we'll go through a few policies and protocols of Anthea, but right now I will hand it over to Safia. She'll just give you a brief on the toddler
0 to
program.
3, just a quick
0 to 3 quickly, and then we'll come back.
Yeah, you for standing here. I'm just trying to highlight it there. Okay. So, hello everybody. Most of you know me. Anybody here who does not know me?
Zabini, okay.
So yes, the first thing is that you are the point of contact. WhatsApp was the mode of communication, but now that you are in Anthea, I do not reply on WhatsApp.
No, she has been asked not to reply on WhatsApp.
So do not feel bad, because with the admission procedure, you have pinged me at 1 o'clock in the night as well, and I've tried doing the best because you wanted admissions. But now that WhatsApp would be closed, so that's not the mode of communication. It will be only through emails, and you will have Mr. Rao's number or whatever is the procedure. So do not feel bad that I do not reply back with the first thing. Okay, so for toddlers, this is only for toddlers. The timings for you to drop off your child would be 9:20. We would not take in the children before 9:20. So it is 9:20 to 9:30 is your drop-off time. You can pick up your children anything between 11:15 to 11:30.
This is for toddlers, not primaries.
Gaya.
Okay. Otherwise, the rest of you, if you come in, the gates are closed at 9:15. So your children will not let in. So in toddlers, what you expect your child would be doing is a very smaller of the area of the classroom. We mainly focus on building the independence for the children, building the vocabulary for the children. Again, we're just giving them the rich vocabulary, let them pick up from that rich vocabulary. So do not expect your child to do any kind of sounds, ABCD nahi bol raha hai, likh nahi raha hai. That is not the age. What we try doing is helping them with toilet independence, giving them a lot of rich vocabulary, helping them to choose their work, and an independence to eat. So it's not an easy task when they move to a bag shelf, take out the bag from the hook, open the zip, pick up the bag. It's a long procedure. So in a day, the child would just eat and come back. So now, and you asking a question, how was my child? I have no reply. What did he do? I have no reply. Could be today, all he did was just sit and soak in whatever was there in the classroom. So over here, the three main areas that we would be is building up the independence for their toileting, So again, toileting, getting diaper free is a whole lot of thing that happens. But before that, is the child ready to come to the washroom with me? Is the child ready to, use the commode? Is the child able to flush? So we start working on that. The getting into the diaper free is something that I start partnering, that we start doing it, they start talking to the parents. Are you ready? That's when just 2 hours over here I make the child diaper free, and then you go back home and put the child in diaper, does not work. So that happens slowly, so that's where we build up. So toddler is about that. When it comes to choice, we've already spoken about a lot of choice, but I would want you to go back and think that these are just way too young. You can't give them a choice what you want to eat. So when you're giving them a choice, just give them 2 choice. You want to eat idli, you want to eat dosa. And when you've given that choice, be firm. If the child chooses idli, idli is what you get. So that's where they start trusting, as they said, they start trusting.
Even a 1-year-old can be given those limits. It's okay.
I would say even a newborn, I would go back to say that, let the child choose the breast that he wants to feed with. You can't just say, oh, this is where you will have to. The child sometimes does not feed in because he does not want it that way. So that's where the choice begins when the child is born. So you have to go through that. And when you're giving them a choice, these children are too young, so pick up just 2 pairs. You can't open up a cupboard and say, this is your school shelf, pick up the t-shirts. Give a 2 choice, this t-shirt or this t-shirt, this pajama. Again, dressing and all of that, which Jyoti will talk about, where it's more comfortable, more easy. So stick to the choice, let them pack their boxes, stick to that, small boxes of meals. So again, when we give them the choice and have a limits. So as we said that, there are limits with freedom. So we get all of you, most of you, if you know driving, we have the freedom, you've learned the car, you have a car, you just can't go out driving. Driving has to be with a signal, with a zebra crossing, you can't drive anywhere you want. There are limits when you start driving. The same way we say when the child is here, the child has limits. A lot of you ask me the question that, Montessori, बहुत freedom मिलेगा, फिर करेगा क्या, and all of that. So here when we give them the freedom, there is limits, and limits is to build up that trust. The child is not ready, so you just have 2 trays, you can choose the work. Slowly, when it is not overwhelming for them, we start increasing. So that's what you will have to also do, is build up that, slowly grow with the choice. And when we give them that limits, we are building up that security for the child. That we're not overwhelming the child, giving them too much where the child is lost and just sitting because he's not ready, he does not know what to pick up. So that is where the limits build up. Now I would like to just read up a quote that Dr. Maria Montes said. The greatest gift we can give our children are the roots of responsibilities and the wings to independence. So give them that wings of independence. Thank you.
Okay, we spoke about role of an adult, we spoke about what all we need to think of when we are with the children, but then role of an adult also comes to Anthea. As an Anthea parent, what is it that you need to know, right? As an Anthea parent, when you're sending your child to the school, what all you need to know before you send or while you're sending? Is there anything that you need to tell us? Is there anything that you need to do? You need to be aware of all of these, right? So we'll just walk you through all these points that we are going through now will be is there in the handbook as well. I'm hoping most of you have read it. I'm just going to, quickly go over the points, and we'll keep the questions in the end. If you have any questions, we can talk about it, okay? So these are the environments at Anthea. I think most of you are aware of these now. Gaia is the toddler environment, that is 0 to 3. Closer to 3, 2.5 upwards, we will start moving children to primary. Primaries, we have 3 primaries, Astra, Aura and Hydra. Not that it's something special or something different, it's just like, back in our days we used to say section A, B, C. We've just named it differently, Astra, Aura and Hydra. And Pyros is the elementary, which is the 4th and 5th floor. The top 2 floors are for elementary children, which is for 6 to 12 years. Yeah. Settlement process. I think most of you here have started with the settlement process, have received our calls, have started coming into school. In the last 2-3 weeks, you have all started all of this, right? Few of you are yet to start, but then I think most of you have started. So you know how it is for each child. We have given different timings, different time slots. So please stick to that. There is a reason behind why we are doing it. We are trying to give them that little time, the individual attention that the teacher can give, instead of, all of them coming on the 15th, and then, teacher also is not able to give them that time, and they also are overwhelmed with too many children in the classroom at the same time, right? So we're doing it for a reason. It's different child, different timings. Even on the 15th, when the school actually reopens and your child is coming in, say at 9 o'clock, we feel he is not really settled and he's really, overwhelmed with too many, whatever, it might feel a little too much because he's not settled yet, or even a settled child might feel a little disturbed. We will move them back to say 9:30 or 10 o'clock or whatever, and then give them that little time. We might keep them for shorter duration and send them back. So if the teachers call you, don't feel offended. It is for a reason. We want to make sure your child is comfortable and trusts us before we keep them longer here. So we are working on each child individually, making plans for every child. Imagine the teachers, they are all tired of me, telling them this parent you have to call, this parent you have to, call and give the settlement call, tell them how the child is doing. We have a different schedule for it, and it is a big thing for us to follow all of these. And remember which child is coming in at what time. Has it been 3 days? Has it been 5 days? It is a little too much. So please cooperate with us. We are only trying to help your children come in and get comfortable with us. So just give us that little time, and timings may change even after 15, so please be prepared with that. Yeah? Another thing about settlement is, I know most of you have started the process, but then think of it from the child's point of view. Don't panic when they're crying or not settling in and all that. It might take days, it might take months also for children to settle in. Give them that time. You have seen the school before, you have liked what you saw, you have chosen the school for a reason, right? You have liked it. So have that faith in us that, we will also have faith in your child. So have faith in us that we are trying to help your child settle in. Even if it takes months, it's okay. Just give them that time. Once the child is ready, he will show you wonders. But give him that time. Yeah. So just be patient in the settlement period. Even the older children who have been here with us last year might be a little disturbed when they come back after a long break of 2 months. So give them that little time as well. In case we feel they need that time, we might change their time as well. So just be prepared for that as well. Vocabulary used here in the classroom, we call it environment. We don't say classroom, we call it environments, because it's a prepared environment, like Suchi was talking. Every material kept here is prepared and has been kept on the shelf for a reason. So each environment, so we don't say it's a class, it's a classroom, it's an environment. We don't say toys or play and all that. We say it's material. Every thing that is on the shelf is a material. Working with the material, we say it's a child's work. We are not saying, okay, go play with that material there. It's working. So the children think they're coming here to work, but they're actually working, because they're building on so many things. They're learning so many things out of it. So they are working. So there are different vocabulary that we use here. It's mentioned in the handbook as well. So just get used to those things, so you can also start using the same terms for the children at home. Even the teachers, they're called Miss Isabine, Miss Jayashree, and so. Even the support staff, we don't call them Akka, Aya and all that. They also are Miss Nagmani, Miss Ammaji. So everybody is Miss so-and-so here. Yeah. So if your child is saying things, it is, what it means.
You feel free to stretch if you have to, and move around. We are going to be here for another hour.
And there's water and juice and some cookies kept there. Feel free to walk up and help yourself, please.
Just make sure you listen to what is being said. That's important.
Clothing. You all know that
These children are forcing themselves to sit.
Okay, we'll take a small 1-minute break for those of you who want to move around.
Okay. If you're doing any studying at home, please do phonics.
So what don't do?
Ah.
Doing the work. Just have a good time.
Okay, so I'll just quickly go through these points. Coming back to clothing.
Yes, we need you to listen, please, everybody. These are important. Because after this, you'll just be redirected to this. So, yes.
So clothing, again, get your child in comfortable clothing. All your party wears, the long lehengas and all those things, the heels, all those can be kept for party wears.
Suspenders, jeans,
Yes,
bow ties.
jeans. 3 years old jeans who can't even unbutton themselves. But they are sent in jeans.
What we are trying to do is get them independent in toileting as well. We are trying to get them to work, carry some materials around. You see those materials, right? They are free to pick those materials, come and sit here and work also. So they should be able to carry the material and walk without focusing on their dress and am I able to walk and is my dress coming along with me and stuff. So make sure they're in comfortable clothes, maybe some shorts, Crocs, more than enough. They can be as comfortable as they can. Even
Jammies are
shoes.
also fine. We don't judge your children. Jammies are also fine.
They can come in pajamas. We have no issues. Even Crocs. I'm saying Crocs because it's the most comfortable thing. But anything that you think your child is comfortable in, taking it off and putting it back in. Because here we don't put it on for them. We want them to learn that skill as well. So the child is doing it by himself or herself. So make sure it is the most comfortable thing. Initially, at least till they get used to it. After that, maybe you can slowly increase. Maybe there's a strap. Maybe there's a Velcro and stuff.
The parent had to say no Crocs. So I was really worried because that's one where both our kids can wear it. No Crocs. We have
We'll look at it again. We'll see that again. But your Crocs is quite comfortable.
So whatever, please don't send them in boots if they cannot wear it on their own. Don't send them in fancy boots and things like that.
Fancy boots, heels, they struggle to walk and take it off and put it on as well. So just
One more point that we can is even one pair, we know you have 10 and 15 pairs at home, but initially, because trust me, it's not easier for the child gets lost, which one did I wear and come? And then we are also lost, which one? So initially first,
If all children, if 200 children are wearing Crocs, they all come with similar Crocs, label them. We will not know your child's shoes. Please label.
snack and lunch, we don't have a set time for snack over here. Children are free to pick their snack anytime they're hungry or they feel they want to eat and they can eat, right? So there is no set time for snack or lunch. Quantity, please be careful of how much quantity you're sending. We've seen children coming with 4 or 5 dabbas and then they're like, okay, now which one of it should I be eating? And if they don't finish, they're worried that when I go back home, mom is worried I've not finished it. Every day, first question that the child gets going back home, did you finish?
We have children come down to play, they come down to the play area and they know they're going to be dismissed after that. And they will like, I have to finish my lunch now, otherwise my mother will ask me at the gate whether I have eaten or not. They forget about the play, all they want to do is finish their lunch at that point of time. Please, send them the quantity that they can finish.
We will do a food workshop, with a leading doctor. She's done it in the past, and people thought we paid her to do this. She's speaking our language. But Dr. Shivanjani has done an amazing food talk with us, and we hope to bring her back again for that.
I was like that with my daughter when she was young, and now trust me, she's extremely afraid to leave food on the plate, and I tell her, please don't dump it into your stomach. Please, it's okay to just remove it. But yeah, it's difficult. They just have it in their head, right? I made that mistake when she was young.
All made that mistake.
Yeah.
Even I know.
All done it.
Yeah.
So don't pack food that you think your child should finish. Pack what you think your child can finish. Yeah. Label every box, every socks, Crocs, chappal, dresses, anything that the child is coming into school with. Please label it. If it's not labeled, children will have similar things. It's all available in the market. Whatever it is, it's all similar there. So we will not be able to identify. We will not be able to hand it over. So please help us with it. Imagine we have so many children in the school, right? 200 children coming with the same tiffin boxes. It's not easy. So please remember to label it. You can send an extra pair of clothes to be kept in the school if you think it's heavy for the child to carry every day. Label that as well. So and so's clothes, spare clothes. We'll keep it in the classroom and use it as and when required. We will ask you to replace it if it is used. Yeah, soiled clothes will be sent back. But if you want to keep it in the school, that also is an option. But label it. Attendance, we want children to be regular because what we are doing here is a process. It is not today we came, tomorrow we'll complete. After a month he'll come back and we'll finish the curriculum that we have planned for. It's a process. The child is trying to learn different things over here. He's working on a particular thing. So the continuous consistency, the order is very important. So attendance is a very, very important ask from our end. Keep them regular to school. You will see the difference in the child yourself. Things appropriate to school. Don't send them with fancy toys and all to school. No toys. No toys at all. Toys at home, please. Even if they come with some toy, we will hand it back to you at the gate itself. Or if we see it later, it will be in the bag. The child will not be allowed to play with it. Toys are not allowed at all. Yeah.
Your child may throw a tantrum in the car and may not get out of the car. Take your car away, park it, do what it takes to be able to come 15 minutes ahead of time to handle the tantrum. But don't give in and give the toy and send the child. Okay? It's not our problem to handle, we will also take it away from your child.
Receivals and dismissals, very, very touchy topic, I would say, because we've had a lot of issues with this. You know, the main road here, it is full of traffic. It's a very busy road. We want to be more responsible towards the other people who are, using this same road. So we take it up as a very this thing on ourselves to be not inconveniencing others. So when parents are coming, we request you to, make sure you enter the lane from the other side where the school is on the left side for you. Yeah, school is on the left side. Keep your child ready as you're coming closer to the gate. Wear the bags, shoes. Yeah. So make them wear their bags, shoes, be ready to just drop off. Our teachers will be lined up there at the gate, outside the gate, standing on the road itself just to receive your children. So don't stop your car, just come where the school is on the left side, keep your child ready on that side itself where you have to just get off. Not somewhere else, come let's wear your shoes now. Now can we take your bag? No, that is not the thing that you do after the car stops in front of the gate. Yeah. So just be ready to just drop. Teacher is there to receive your child and take her inside, and we will make sure the child is safely coming into the premises. But at the road, we want it to be a quick drop off, and the cars have to be moving. You will see all our staff, you will see me also standing on the road and directing people and saying, please move, we need space, right? So don't get offended if you're sending your drivers or anybody else who is coming to drop your child. Tell them this is the route to be taken. There is another road that you can take and move behind the building and come this way if you're coming from the other side. But make sure you're coming only from this side, entry only to this side. We treat it as a one-way.
Your children, we are not patient with adults. we cannot be patient with adults. Okay, so we need that traffic to be quickly moving forward.
So please treat this as one way. Don't come the opposite direction. If you come the opposite direction, we will all tell you, no, we're not taking your child. Go there, take a U-turn, come back. Only if you come the right direction, we're going to take your child. This way, we're going to be very clear on the road as well. So please don't make us uncomfortable doing this. Yeah. Drop-off procedure I just spoke about. Pick up, whatever is your time window. If your child is here till 12 o'clock or 2 o'clock or whatever the time, 10 minutes is the window that you people have to come, take the children and go. After 10 minutes, teachers have to get back to the classroom. So there will be a late fee register that is kept there. Mr. Rao or any staff will come and ask you to sign there that you picked up a little late and who's the person who's picked up. There will be a late fine invoice that you will be getting. So you will have pay for it and finish the invoice, clear the invoice. So please remember this pickup procedure is within the 10 minutes window from your dismissal time. Yeah? ID cards. I have still not received, I've been sending reminders after reminders for ID cards. I've still not received all the pictures, so the ID cards are not ready yet. Few of them who submitted, yes, they are ready, we will be handing over to you. This is mainly, the authorized adult. I'm not sure if you people have read the handbook where the authorized adult. You can authorize any two adults who can pick up the child at the gate. So all we have to do because we also want to be quick traffic and stuff like that, right? So we will just match the picture on the ID card with that person and say hand over. If there is another person who's not in the picture, then we will not hand over. We will give you a call saying this is not on the ID card. Who is this new person who's coming to pick up? Yeah, because safety is very, very important. So if we don't have the ID card, we will not be able to ensure that the child is handed over to the right person. So please help us with this. I don't know if I should be saying this, but going forward, I think I'm going to say that if I do not have the ID card there, whoever comes and asks for your child at the gate, I'm going to have it.
Yeah, I don't know what else to do unless you guys can help us with a better solution. We don't know what else to do. We have been, on months on this. Right at the enrollment meeting, Anupam and I talk about the ID card. And after that, we are yet to receive 32 ID cards. So we don't know what to do. You please tell us, otherwise.
Or give us a blanket email saying that you're okay with us handing over a child to anybody and we'll be more than happy to do it.
Send us a blanket email.
that's a very important thing. So please upload the pictures. You all have the link. Upload the pictures if you don't have the ID card. Visitor policy, anybody who comes into the premises is a visitor to this thing, will come with an appointment. We don't take it, people without appointment. So you need to write to us, take an appointment. When you come in, there is a register to sign. Mr. Rao or somebody will ask you to sign there. Please sign that, and you will be given a badge to wear. You will be wearing that visitor badge on your this thing. If you don't have it, one of us, our staff, will come and ask you how come you're here, do you have an appointment and stuff like that. So this is one of the policies. Do's and don'ts at the gate. Please do not ask us how my child was during the day. How did he do? Was he crying? Was he doing this? Did he eat his lunch? These are not the questions to ask at the gate.
No questions are asked at the gate actually.
Yeah,
Not asking questions at the gate.
also, even in the morning, my child's medicine is in the bag, please make sure. We cannot take those instructions because we don't know which teacher is receiving your child. We don't know if that thing has the teacher passed it on to them. We cannot afford for those mistakes to happen, right? So we will not answer any questions. The blanket rule is no questions asked. Our teachers have been instructed to do that. So they've been told very politely, say, I'm sorry, I can't take a question. So you will hear that.
At the gate, our priority is safety of your child. So we will make sure that all children are safe and handed over to the right person. That is all we are focused on. And we have too many children to make sure that that is happening. So any of your questions will not be answered at the gate. Yeah. Next comes communication. Obviously, the question is, if we don't ask you at the gate, where else and how else do we ask you, right? So you could actually write into the school. Email is the main mode of communication, only mode of communication, I would say. If you need a call also, please write to us and we will definitely schedule a call. But teachers are calling you from their phones. That also will be switched off. They will not be answered if you call them back. You need a call from one of our teachers, please write to us. We will tell you what time we will call, we'll schedule it and we will call back. Yeah. Writing, again, you have the teacher's email ID, right? If people want to write to the teachers directly, it is that environment name with the email ID. Astra is astra@anthea.montessori.com. Hydra is hydra@anthea.montessori.com. So email IDs, remember, note them down. It's all in the handbook again. It's in the transparent classroom as well. If you go to school info and contact Anthea, all the contact details are given there. So write to us and we will definitely respond within 48 working hours.
And if that doesn't happen, say you write to your classroom ID and you don't get a response, please copy Jyoti, escalate it. If Jyoti doesn't respond, please feel free to escalate it to either Suchi or I. Do not just hold back and say that I sent an email and it was not responded to. Please escalate.
Escalation matrix is also on handle. What to do by things like that.
And one more thing, this time we do not have diaries in the primary. It's only in the Kaya, the toddler environment. We do not have diaries for children. So if there's any note in the morning that you want to tell the teachers about today, like say the child is, whatever, anything you want to tell the teacher about that this thing, write to us before 9 o'clock in the email, because by 9 o'clock, definitely the email will be checked every morning. After that, if there is any emergency, time-sensitive issues, call Mr. Rao. You all have Mr. Rao's number right now. If you want, you can just note it down. That's the number. Please save it on your phones. Please call Mr. Rao and he will make sure the right message is passed on to the concerned person. Because after 9 o'clock, teachers are busy with the children. They will not be able to check emails. It's only after 2:30 when we again check our emails.
Jyoti, what is an emergency?
Or ask them what is an emergency.
My child did not eat. Lot of emergency comes in there.
So, what constitutes an emergency also? Because if that happens, right? I sent Chole and Rajma and my child. I'm sorry, we will not be able to disturb teachers for those kinds of things, right? What constitutes an emergency? There's a change in authorized adult pickup. If your child has to be picked up early, picked up late, whatever. There is something that's going on and with the late day running, right? Everything else can be emailed, and we will respond to you in 48 hours. If not, please escalate.
Writing to the teachers, writing to me if there is some school admin related issues. Management, you all have Suchi or Anupama's email IDs. You can write to me if you need to meet to them also. I can schedule a meeting with them. Otherwise, their email IDs also are on the handbook. Yeah? Phone call to the school. I think I just covered it. Teachers' phones will be switched off. They will not be answering. Even I do not answer parents' calls. Only through email. If you tell me that you need to talk, we will, or call Mr. Rao and say you need to talk. We will, get back. chat apps. We do not use WhatsApp. That is not our official mode of communication. I just have those groups created. You all know that, right? Floor 1, Hydra, floor 2, this thing. These are all for emergencies. If there is any emergency, like say it's raining heavily and we have to shut school, so that time we will put it on WhatsApp itself just for ease of communication. Otherwise, WhatsApp is not.
Reminders of workshops.
Also for reminders on workshops and stuff, but otherwise there is no WhatsApp communication as such from the school. It is mainly on PC and emails. Yeah, PC is transparent classroom. We're coming to that next. These are few things that happen in the school, events, celebrations and stuff. There are birthdays. We celebrate birthdays in school. Each child, like say your child's birthday is coming up this month, you can write to us, give us at least a week's notice saying you would like to come, be a part of the celebration. Teachers will have plans for each day, right? We will have to see if it fits in and if there is no clash with another birthday party and stuff. So write to us and say that you're interested. We will, parents can come in. Last year and all we didn't have it because of COVID. We were trying to avoid number of adults coming into the premises. But now parents can come in and be a part of the celebration. So if you can write to us and tell us that this is the date we are planning to celebrate in the school, we can still accommodate.
1 week
Unless something changes between now and then, so we are hoping that things will be smooth this time and we don't have to change anything.
So 1 week's notice is what we require, so please help us with it. Write to us and don't write to us in the morning and say today we are coming. We will not be able to accommodate that because the email also may not be read, right? So just give us some little advance notice. Yeah. Toddlers will not have these birthday celebrations because toddlers can't take too many changes and change in order. They do it in the class. But parents
They can't have the adult coming in because they get very disturbed by the adult coming in and doing it. Close them in the hall. So no birthday celebrations, no observations for time. You can do it when your child comes to time.
festivals, we used to celebrate even now we do celebrate and talk about every festival, but what we have done is it was too much for the child to because you know how it is in India, every month there are some 3-4 festivals that come up, and it was too much for us also to do it and child also to understand, okay, before we finish one, the next festival is here and we're talking about it and stuff. So what we decided is in the last 3-4 years we've been doing it, we pick and choose 5 or 6 festivals for the year and we do it in a large scale. We talk about it for good 2 weeks, we celebrate, we do artwork related to it, we do food prep relating to it, we do everything relating to that festival for good 2 weeks. So like she said, it has to be alive in the environment, right? So if we are talking about it for a long time and it's alive, children soak in the information better about any festival that we're doing. So we will just pick 5 or 6 festivals and we will work on those. Like say that Diwali is not in these 5 or 6 that we have picked and tomorrow is Diwali. We will talk about it in the circle time. We'll say tomorrow is Diwali, this is what Diwali means, this is what people do, and just a brief talk. But it's not like a big celebration that we do because we want to focus on this. Over a period of 3 years that the child is in primary, we are hoping to cover most of the festivals. Yeah. Workshops. You're all here, this is one of the workshops. So we will have quite a few workshops that are coming up and you will be notified of it at least 2 weeks in advance. So please make time. Yes, there's one next coming up. I'll be sending it out today or tomorrow. 25th of June, Ms. Swati Jagdish, who is known as Maya's Amma. I think most of you know she's a famous one on Instagram. So she's coming here to talk about sex education, the real talk, how to have the talk and stuff like that with your children. So it will be nice if you can, it's a paid workshop.
We invited her to workshop for Antya parents. So she's coming on our request. So we request, actually it's more for parents with children
Five
in
plus,
5 class.
So when they start having those curiosity about their bodies and things like that, it's children geared towards parent for children with older than 5 years old. Yeah. So anybody there, please feel free to register. We are limited. You see the space, right? We are limited, and she is a popular thing. So this is a paid workshop. You will get all the details. We are having a special active rate, and after that, we will have to open it to outsiders because a lot of people are interested to be able to attend this. It is first come first serve basis.
So even otherwise our workshops, we will be focusing on different areas of Montessori like math, sensorial area, why is practical life important. We pick topics and we will, because Montessori is so different, we would like you to understand what we do in school so you can support the child in the right way and how you can support at home kind of workshops we will be having. So it would be nice if you can, make your time and make yourself available for these workshops. Anthya Utsav, it's our annual day, we call it Anthya Utsav is Anthya Utsav. Hopefully we'll be doing it this time. Last 2 years we've missed it. We've not been able to do it because of COVID. So we're hoping it will be. It's a big annual event where children will be participating and get onto the stage. Again, we'll come to that little later because there is a lot of disclaimers to be given. You will receive all details about activities a little later. Parent observations. We open up our floor for observations every Thursday. So every Thursday, not that you can walk in, of course, book in a slot. We'll wait till maybe August, September-ish because we want the children to settle down first. Post September, maybe I would say, we'll see how the children settle in and then we'll send you out an email. You will get a notification saying we're opening up for observations. You get a 20-minute slot to come into your child's classroom, sit and observe. Yeah, so you will get to see Montessori live in action. Your child, even if your child is not, really ready to work that day because you are in the classroom, might be excited, might be disturbed, whatever, you will still get to see the classroom, how it functions and stuff. Yeah, so that is one of the things that's coming up. We're hoping to do it this year. We didn't do it last few years, so you will hear from us soon on these as well. But again, asking you to write to us to book your slot so it doesn't clash with other parents because we don't want too many parents in the classroom also. Yes. Next is transparent classroom. I think Jayashree will walk through. I think most of you have actually logged into transparent classroom and are able to go through, right? In case any of you have an issue or not able to log in, please write to me. We will help you out with any issue with the password change or whatever it is, we can help you out. So please write to me about it.
If you do change your email IDs, please let us know so that we can update it in our records. Then you will miss out on the emails that come.
So we will just open the app, not the app, transparent classroom itself and just walk you through on where you can find what information in the school. The app does not work, so please do not use the app. App is only for uploading pictures. Any other features will not work on the app properly or the mobile phones.
So you have to log into the portal, transparentclassroom.com. Even on your phone, you can log into the portal, but we can't be the app.
login to get into this portal. But as parents, you all will be having your own credentials to log into this portal, right? Is everyone able to access transparent classroom? Have
Each
you
one
guys
of you will
tried
have it. Mother and father, each one of you will have it, yeah?
Everybody has tried it, right? Have you accessed almost all the pages that, right? So we are going to go through the same over here. The panel might be, the interface might be different from what you see on yours and what we see as a teacher. But I'm going to walk you through what are the important things that you have to be knowing in a transparent classroom. So on this, do you see events here? Yeah, events is something that you will be seeing all the forms that you received from Ms. Jyoti landing up into that section. Okay, maybe if there is a form, a survey form where you need to submit, that will be up there with the link. Okay, so right now we don't have any forms coming up, so you may see that empty. So once you see Jyoti posting any survey form, that's going to sit there. So you may have to click that and that link will open up the survey and you may have to do whatever is required. So all that important information lands up into that particular section. Down if you see there, do you see the school info? You will find all the school related resources available in this section. Okay. So the most important resource that you all will be accessing is parent resources. So you will have all the required information, maybe about library, maybe about your handbook, or maybe any calendar, the school calendar. All these policies, everything is put up in that section. And it is like hyperlink for your easy access. You just gonna click on the link and that will navigate you to the right document or the file. Okay? Clear? So that is what the front home page is all about.
So you just want to click on the learning resources, parent learning resources. That's something I would really like you to take the time to. We've curated a lot of really interesting ones. So please take the time. So if you see, right, parent inspiration, we have literacy resources. If you click on the literacy resources, you'll see a whole bunch of videos, blogs. So please take the time to get familiar with this part.
Okay, you want me to get into the part?
No, that's fine. That's fine.
So, alright, so that is the home page, okay? And so you all will be able to see your children or child's home page, right? If you have siblings, you will be able to access both their, the interface or maybe the dashboard like the charts with all the options on the top, right? That's the menu we call it. So here for the teacher, if you see, we have all the children listed up.
Yeah, that's okay. Can you log into the parent ID so that it's maybe better? So we'll just have Safia log in as a parent, and then the interface will be the same.
So there is an option for you to
Yeah.
make your numbers public. There are parents who want to call their classmates for birthdays and things like that. So it'd be good if you can, release your numbers so that the other parents can reach out to you easily.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I missed in birthday celebrations. Lot of parents keep writing to us asking, I want to invite so and so for the birthday party. Please can you give the contact numbers and stuff. Going forward, we're changing it. It will be please make it available on Transparent Classroom if you want your child to be invited for such parties, because it's getting difficult for us. It's a long list of children that I keep getting, and I have to contact everybody asking for permission to share. So number being available there, it's easy for all of you to contact each other.
So please do that today when you go home. If your child want to have play dates, if the child wants to have whatever, open up your numbers, so that we can just say it's all out of Transparent Classroom.
Alright, so that's one of our teacher parents. So I'm going to access her child's page. Okay? So these are the things you see on your left. Okay, we covered then events and school info and other things. Right? You're clear with that. So now Naira is Miss Poonam's daughter. So we're going to just see how the home page, the dashboard for Naira looks like. So this is the home page, the dashboard. Right? So on the top you see the menu, wherein you see the menu options like profile, photos, portfolio, daily tracking, conference reports, forms, and attendance. Right. So the front page is the profile, wherein you see the photographs. If we have uploaded anything, the child working in the classroom is like candidly clicked. When they are totally engrossed in their work, we click a few times. So we put it up on there, and that will be shown on the home page for you guys. And we don't release that every day. The photograph you will be able to see only weekly once on a Friday, end of the school hours. Right, so that you will be seeing there. And on the right you see the basic information, whatever you have written for the child. So that will be seen. And if you see the next is the photos of all, whatever that has been put up so far. Like for that term, for that year, everything comes up here. And the picture you can download it to your desktop or maybe to your local drive. Right? If you are accessing it on the phone, you can still save it to your gallery and things like that. So photos are accessible to download. And portfolio. Portfolio is the page where you will see all the important communication that's coming through the teacher. Right? So you saw the home page of the Transparent Classroom, you might be seeing the post coming from the center head or the school management. But portfolio is the page where you will see the information or the post notifications coming through the teacher from the classroom. Maybe if there is any
do the
yes.
pictures and then move on. Please look at the portfolio page also.
Yes.
So important information is there.
Yes. So this is going to be here unless and until we review it from this section. So it is accessible as long as it is available there. Okay, so once it is outdated, we might be updating it. So we may remove the outdated one and push up the fresh one update. Clear?
Yes.
So the daily tracking is again a notification from the teacher's side. So if there is any information that you want to notify it to you, that will be coming up in this section that happened in the class.
Ouchie
It will be
reports?
more of the
Ouchie reports is nice.
it will be more of the textual format. Okay, there are no pictures, nothing. It's just a communication like maybe people like to convey some message to you. Okay, so maybe I may want the child to carry all these notebooks to class for the older ones, not for the younger. So maybe I may put up a message or a notification to the parent asking them to send in the notebooks to us. Okay, so those kind of notifications and messages land up here in this section of the daily.
Diary.
Diary.
Longer than a diary.
Yeah.
So all communication from parents will be through email. Any communication from teachers will be through drafting. No diaries.
Alright, so next will be your conference reports. So twice in a year, every 6 months, you will receive a report, a descriptive report of what has happened for this entire 6 months with the child. Where he or she is at, maybe with the lesson wise or with the socio-emotional aspects. So all these things we come up with the summary consolidated report for the entire 6 months. So we put it up in this section. And this happens twice in a year. It's sometime around September to October and the other one during the end of the academic year. Maybe sometime during the March. Yeah. So same, you may just have to click the link and that will open up this report for you guys to read. And the forms. So when we spoke about the dashboard, the home page, wherein we saw the school info, I was talking about the forms that comes and sits there. So these are all the forms that have been already submitted. This comes and sits in this page, in another page. Once you submit those forms, they come and sit here for your reference to see what are the forms that has come in and what are the forms that have submitted. So everything comes and sits on. Yeah, right. And that's the attendance. So you will get a report of attendance, like the days of number of days present, absent. If the child has left early, like before the time, the school time, everything is marked. If the child comes in late, you mark it tardy. So all these information or the overall report of the attendance, you can see it in this picture. Alright, so the I have to click this to show them the progress.
Oh, the BNX, that's not the disability.
Oh, that's not I think that's all I have for transparent.
Yeah, so do you want to quickly talk about the report and how it's released once a month? Do you know what's PAI's released once a month?
Ouchie reports. Ouchie matlab in case your child gets hurt here and we send you a report. So we call it an ouchie report. So those reports will be under the activity page itself where teachers will put in there. You will get an email as well, but can't trust that every time you will get an email. So every day we request you to log into Transparent Classroom at the end of the day and check for anything that the teacher has to tell you about your child.
So while receiving the child, if you do notice a scratch, or if there's something that needs to be informed to the child, it will be mentioned in the transparent classroom. So please look at it, don't ask the teacher at the gate what happens to my child. You will get the information.
Or if there's a change in clothes, what happened, all that update will be given on that. So at the end of the day, if you can just look at that activity sheet, you will get some update or, if there's nothing,
If it is relevant, if it is needed.
no news is good news, so be happy there is nothing here. And another thing is every last Thursday of the month, last Thursday of every month, we release these reports where what all activities has been presented to the child, where is he at, and all that. So every last Thursday will be released, and you will get an email saying it's released, and you can have a look at the reports there. Yeah.
And we close it again over the weekend, so it will have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday to take a look at it. Then we close it again, and
We close it by Monday.
if you miss it, please don't ask us to release it. We will not do that. Wait for the next month. Nothing earth-shattering happening.
Just the last bit now that you quickly finish in the next 2 minutes, and then we'll open it up for questions. If you do, you have any questions on the transparent classroom? Anybody has any questions? Good. The last thing is about the food prep. We are hoping to open up food prep this time. We didn't have it in the last 2-3 years because of COVID. We were avoiding any food or anything that was in the field. So right now we are planning to open it up maybe this month. Food prep basically is, we'll have one shelf dedicated for food and snacks for the child. It's not just take and eat. It is basically for the child to work. Like say if we have bread and jam kept on the shelf, the child will spread the jam on the bread and make a sandwich and then eat. So it's basically we're working on different skills like grating a carrot, spreading the butter. It could be making some salads. It could be different things. We'll come up with a list. So that food prep is what we're planning to start this time. This month, of course, we will do it in the school. From July onwards, we will be opening it up to parents, wherein every week we will have made a list. You will receive the email. I'm just explaining what it means now. So you will receive an email where we say we're starting food prep from so and so date, and this is the list of activities that we will be doing every week. So each week one activity will be assigned, and parents also will be assigned. So it's a community, right? So we want parents to contribute to that. Parents in the sense, we want the child to walk in saying, today I am getting in bread and I am getting in jam. So the child feels like he's a part of the community where he belongs to, and he's also contributing to it. No,
We'll
it's
talk
just an
about that
example.
later. We'll talk about what those things are later. But yes,
It's just an example I took for ease of this thing. We don't really, it doesn't mean that I'll have jam every week. So that's the skill we're trying to do, right? The spreading of the jam is what we're trying to say. So yeah, parent also will be assigned. So you will see the sheet. You will know which week is assigned to you. You might get it in the first term. You might get it in the second term, wherever. So just make a note of that. Whichever week you have to send it. When we say you have to send it is the child who's bringing it. So please remember, it's the child's work. Plan, read out what is written, get your child involved in it, take the child to the supermarket, let the child pick what it is, explain to her why you're picking it, then send it to school, let the child walk in with the thing. If you can, drop it before by 8:45 or so, it will be sent to the classroom and, kept ready for when children come in and all that. All the guidelines will be in the document, but get your child involved in the whole process. That's the whole idea behind getting everybody involved in it. Yeah. So for this, that's the this thing about food prep. For this, we would want to ask for volunteers for the homeroom parents. We call it homeroom parents because each of these classrooms will have one parent volunteer who will, help us coordinate this whole thing. Like we made a document, each week it is assigned to some parent, right? This homeroom parent, the role of that parent is to, remind, like say today is your turn. I will just, if I'm the homeroom parent, I will message you saying next week is your turn and next week this is the activity. So you will have to, drop in this by Monday or by Wednesday. So homeroom's parents' role is to remind people that this is what is coming up next week and make sure the food is available for us in the school. So just coordinating of these activities. Like say week 1 is assigned to one and week 4 is assigned to say parent B. And if you are not available on these weeks, you want to swap it, contact the homeroom parent and they will help you swap it. What we are going to do from the school is share all your contact numbers. Like say Astra homeroom parent will have all Astra parents' numbers. So we will share that contact numbers with them so they can call, coordinate and swap where required.
and it's not a voluntary thing. We're expecting everybody to take turns in providing the thing. The homeroom parent is of course voluntary. We can't force it on somebody. But we would love for, in the past we've had 2 homeroom parents per classroom because it helps with ease of coordination and things like that. So that would work as well.
So we will send out an email asking for volunteers. So if you want, if you're interested, so just write back to us and we will.
Please overwhelm us with your responses so we can.
So yeah, that's it. I think we're done. Right?
It's a nut-free school. Yes, it's a nut-free school. You all know we have children with severe nut allergies. We need to keep the entire community safe. there are children with EpiPen and things like that. So we will not allow for nuts in the so peanut butter, pulihorado peanuts, and any nut are not allowed. We used to be egg free as well, but now we don't have that child anymore with us. So we are now only a nut free school.
This is not just for the food prep, it is for the snack boxes, lunch boxes as well. If you're sending in nuts, we will keep that aside and not give it, not let the child open and eat it in the premises. Yeah. So keep all the nuts and whatever in at your house. Here, send something other than nuts, please. Yes. I think I've done for my
And
questions.
now answer your question on the jam, and I'm sorry, I'm not sure who spoke about that. Sorry, I think you spoke about the jam, right? Yes. So what we do with the food prep thing is we do give a range of options, because it's not possible for all parents to send in marmalade and homemade things and things like that. We do give a range of options, saying, if not a bread, like it's the thing with food is it becomes very home specific. A particular home has a certain value system. So what we say is, we give options like bread, thepla, whatever, roti, khakras. We give a whole bunch of options, and we have the home room parent coordinate with the families to be able to send in, right? But yes, things like bottled jams and stuff, we ourselves say no to those kind of things, but as much as possible, because there are working parents and we need to be able to support them as a community as well. So, yeah. Any other questions? Now the floor is open for questions. Yes. Sorry, I can't hear you. Yes. Spots for three things. Not parents. 3 authorized adults. Does any other parent who's read the handbook want to answer that? Yes.
If it's a regular thing, if it's a regular thing, please let us know. We'll see if we can fit in with that space in the ID card. Otherwise, if it's just one-off cases, email us with the photo and we will make sure the staff is informed.
Let's say we haven't gotten the email, right? Like we said, you say security of your child is important to us. Let's say that email hasn't come. We will insist on the email, because we have to make sure we're handing off the child to the right person, right? It may take time. Usually grandparents get very angry with us. We're not very popular with grandparents. But the thing is, please let them know it's for the safety of their grandchild we're doing this. Yeah? So,
daycare holidays. Somewhere in the handbook I read that the holidays are going to be the same as the school holidays.
Yes.
Does that mean that the share holiday will be
double. Yes.
and 2 months holiday time?
That we're open. Summer we're open. We're just off for a few days. That we will. Summer is separate.
Closer to summer, we will ready to it.
Do you allow meat in kids' care?
Yeah, we're not.
So how do you know if my child is vegetarian and he's not? So
We don't share food. We don't share food in the classroom because of the allergies and things like that. So we don't share food. It has happened in the past when one vegetarian child loved and wanted it. So you have to write to the parents saying your child really craving for meat.
Parents may not really like it, they come and make it.
Exactly.
So the same question with nuts. Why?
Sorry?
If they don't share the food, then.
So some children have severe allergies, right? Even the smell, it can't be
Right.
not just ingestion, not just ingestion.
Over here, it also becomes that you fill up the form and your form has all the details that the teachers go through it. Plus, at the same time, over the time, your child bonds up with the other child, and then in case if there is a light, we write it to the parents. Because I was saying you fill up a detailed form, so I think you have to fill all your questions.
I don't think they heard the question.
About sharing.
Share how will they learn in case if they do not share? So I would tell that first thing is that you fill up a detailed form. When you fill up the form, you have answered, you share, you are okay with your child sharing, you're not okay, your child is allergic to, you are okay, your child trying out new things. So that's where the teachers are together as a team, knowing these parents are okay, these parents are not okay. Second thing is we try avoiding that sharing thing. But yes, with time the children bond up. They say my mummy already knows she's sending, and all of that happens. So to the max that they do is a small piece from here to here, so they learn sharing. But then if we see that the child insists a lot, the teachers reach out saying that your child is into this kind of
things
a
like
food, so
vegetarian,
try-
non-vegetarian, everybody is very aware, because there are some families which won't even have eggs and things like that. So yeah. Any other questions? Yes. No, we don't. You cannot, because the classroom has to be ready. Yeah. So 8:45 is the time to come in. So at 8:45 the gates open. You know, for elementary it's different. Elementary children come in at 8:30. So if you have a sibling with an elementary child, then yes, only those siblings we take in. But other than that, we 8:45 is the entry time.
So 8:45 the gates open, we start taking in children. If you come in a little early, we will ask you to wait. Please wait, because the classrooms, teachers, staff, everybody has to be ready to receive, and then this thing has to be ready. So we will ask you to wait. 8:45 onwards you can start dropping them. 9 o'clock is the time for the school. 9:05 also is late. Is studying. 9:15 we close the gate. When we say 9:15 we close the gate, doesn't mean 9:15 is your school timing. Don't come and fight with me at the gate.
And I tell you why.
9:15 by the Andhya time.
Yes, it's also, we find that fight too. It's not 9:50 by my watch, your watch, it's by our watch. Okay. The thing is, I tell you why. If your child comes in at 8:45, there are teachers in the classroom who are filling up the practical, like filling water, adding the food color, setting up the food prep. Your child will be that teacher's assistant, you know, if they come in early, right? So they're able to, so 8:45 is an incredible learning opportunity for your child. So consider 8:45 as your time, and you have a half an hour bandwidth to work with. Yeah? Yes. 9:20 to 9:30 is your thing. Earlier than 9:20 we won't be, because we have to shut the gate at 9:15. So 9:20 to 9:30, and then same thing 11:15 to 11.
So coming before 9:20 is not.
You have to be asked for it. Yeah. Yes.
So,
Uh-huh.
so when it is discipline that you have to set up in the evening, they start to try to only open doors, especially my son. Because I've seen that with my daughter. They're okay, but then after a while, what's the problem? You send them to preschool and is anything for a period for a week or so, they're okay.
The excitement, yeah.
Excitement. Once that mellows down, no, they start to cry, tantrums, they don't want. How do you bring them back to this? You know, how do you encourage them to go back to school? No matter how much you tell them,
Right.
whether it's going to be fun or whatever, it's going to be very tough. I had this with my elder daughter. So,
Does any other parent want to answer that? Okay. So one of the things is it needs a lot of introspection for sure. You know, because clearly there is some message that's being sent in the home that, you know, this is a lot more fun and this becomes a chore, right? Like coming to school is a chore or whatever, right? So like I think Jyoti touched upon it, saying that coming to school is not an option. You know, yes, like you said, it's tantrumy, and it's the 3 to 6 age group also, where they believe their reasoning mind is just starting to activate. They feel like they have the power, and they feel like they can say whatever, you know. But remember, you are the parent, and going to school is a non-negotiable option. And you want to say, you want to validate their feelings. It is hard, you know. Home is so much more fun. I get if you're a joint family, I get a tataya pouring his love. I get this. But in a class of like 45 children, I'm like, okay, you have to go clean up your work. I'm sorry, you need to go put this back. You know, yes, you can get this after you do this. You know, there's a lot of social negotiations that are going on in a classroom. They are not the apple of the eye here, right? They're one among the many. So it is hard. So validate their feeling that it is hard. But I understand what you're going through. But it's a non. So the more rattled you get, the more what do you say, response. And the more response that they get from you is when they're going to try to push it. But if you are the stoic, I know it's hard, and genuinely you should know it's hard, because from being the apple of the eye to coming here, it's not easy. It's not an easy transition. So while yes, it is thing, but it's not non-negotiable. And you will see this very child at 6 will be running away from you, will not want to have to do anything with you, will be like, you know, oh my God, like when can I just keep going back to school? And that's it is a part of our yeah. So have faith. Yes. Can't hear you at all. I'm sorry. No WhatsApp. We do not do any WhatsApp. It will still be to send ahead at
email or emergencies, call Mr. Rao.
Yes. Yes. After the settlement, you're saying? Right. That is very child specific. The thing is, it is very child specific. So we do have to see some children settle within days, some children take months. We've had one child who's taken a whole year to settle in. It depends on your child. So truly, the more you help us, with us being aligned, then our goal is also to quickly have them in for longer, because it makes, our lesson planning, everything easy. Otherwise, it's a lot of transition for us also. Yeah, but at a rate that is comfortable for the child. Sure. Yes.
So the outcome workshop, you focus on it.
Yes, this is a paid workshop. That is going to be a paid workshop. So once the payment receives, that is how you book your slot for that. But we are, like we said, there's a lot of interest with that, and there's limited space. So
Already sent out an email.
it's coming out today. Yes. No, we don't offer transport. That's not a battle we decided to pick. So
Apart from these workshops, apart from this workshop that you're conducting, do you also have another sex education routine? that is
oh yes,
part
that's
of-
for the elementary. Though a proper sex ed curriculum happens in the elementary from which is age 6 to age 12. That's a proper routine, and it's a part of their work, like everyday work. But here, what we do is we start, like when they use the bathroom, body parts are being named. And things like that. We don't use other terms for it. There is a talk which talks about safe touch versus unsafe touch. All of those things happen at Circle. It's a very primary thing happening here. A heavily invested sex ed curriculum happens in the islands.
Just wanted to confirm the timing for Astra. Is it 9 to 12?
Yeah. All primaries are 8:45 to 12. Yeah.
Again, if your child is above 4 years,
Yes.
above 4 years, it's 9 to 2.
And since we had a music show last year, by the end of last year, would we be including music curriculum
As a part of the Antiochs, music will continue to be a part.
in only the Antiochs or?
No. That is absolutely classes happen in the classroom, but what you showcase happens in the Sorry.
For this next week, Monday to Friday,
Wednesday is when school starts actually.
yes, the settlement.
Uh-huh.
Is it okay to drop them off 8:45 or have to be?
No, that the teachers, like we're using every minute of our day, they have their separate slots for children. So Monday, Tuesday will continue to be your older slots that we've been using this year. And from Wednesday onwards, if your child is ready and if you received an email, am I right?
Just follow what's the not the TC there, because teachers will have planned it with your
If you
time
don't have
slot.
questions, you can leave. Yeah, if you don't have questions, you can leave.
For this settlement period, we'll stick to the slots, please.